you mentioned there about having conversations in the real world with people from different cultures, and integration is the biggest problem in this country. I've said in previous videos uh, my experience living in Brighton, and I think London is quite the same. It's very there's no one big population in Brighton, especially Brighton. Doesn't matter what your sexuality, what your gender, where you're from. There's a big melting pot of Europeans love Brighton in particular. There's loads of people, Spanish, Portugal. It's just everyone. It's just a city full of everyone, where everyone judges each other on their character. And I'm not going to try and pretend that I know what it's like to grow up in some of these towns like Rotherham, Luton, Middlesbrough, where the population is just seems to be completely divided, where you've got the British Asian population and the British white population that don't integrate. They kind of keep to their own. And again, I don't know how you solve that, but that is how you solve this problem with more integration. People need to speak to each other in the real life. We need to integrate. I think it's happening. Well, I mean, I can only base my opinions on my worldview of living where I live. It's happening here. My son, for instance, his friendship group, he's got a couple of friends from Pakistani parents. He's got an Albanian friend, a Spanish friend. They're just a big mix. And the second generation immigrants are just integrating so well. They seem to have this locked down. They don't really care the color of your skin or what your background is. They're just friends. But we need to try and do better integration in some of these towns where they just seem to be so divided. We've seen it for decades in America, in towns where you just have the black population and the white population and they don't integrate. This is where the problems lie. And it's talking and having conversations in the real world where you solve these problems.
No, I agree. I agree with you, and I think integration is so important. But I always bring up on the show, not always, but when I can, I bring up the point of integration is a two-way street. So it's important that when people arrive in a country, that they integrate, they try to integrate. But it's also important for the community to try and help them integrate. And this is what I'm really critical about people like Farage and Robert Jenrick in particular. Robert Jenrick keeps talking about people not integrating, and I would love to ask him, what have you done to help people integrate? Like something, you could help people integrate. Like your son is meeting with these kids. These kids are, I don't know how old they are, but it's irrelevant. But they're chatting. What are they probably talking about? Girls, talking about phones, talking about TikTok, talking about these things. And once they start talking about these things, they would say, "Hey, these other guys are like me." So the integration, they talk about things that are in common, and we have so many things in common.